Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, Strong, Grounded, Unstoppable. This podcast and the discussions within it are all for women who are done just coping. You want to create a better life for yourself and go from going from simply surviving to truly thriving. And today, here with me, I have the wonderful Kim, who's all about wellness. Her wisdom, her warmth are just fabulous. And she is coming all the way from Canada, as usual. Welcome, Kim.
Welcome, all the way across the pond for you. That's crazy.
Yes,
we joke all the time about our time differences, right? Because I have to count on my fingers what time it is.
Yes. We've got it wrong a few times, haven't we? But it doesn't matter because we always get there in the end. And that's the thing about perseverance, which I think is probably, somebody told me, the highest form of intelligence. However, today I want to talk with Kim about all the different forms of well-being, and in fact Kim's journey into spirituality and all the things that come with that. So Kim, over to you. Take us from the beginning, please.
Well, I would have to say the very beginning, honestly. We talked about my mom being bipolar. So as a child, my mom had struggled a lot with things. And the very first thing, and again, in the UK, I don't know, but here in North America, we had a talk show. And I would have been maybe 14-ish. So it'd be like 1974, somewhere around in there, 74, 75. But a man named Phil Donahue. And Phil Donahue was interviewing Wayne Dyer. And it was before Wayne Dyer was, like, he had his first book out and nobody knew who he was and all of that. And so his first book was advertised on the Phil Donahue show. And my mom ordered the book. And it was called Your Erroneous Zone. And it's been in print, I don't know how many different times, but I think that was the beginning. Like, my mom was always sort of striving to feel better because of her bipolar. And so being introduced to Wayne Dyer at a young age, like, not really, like, I was 14. I didn't really care much about it at the time. But as I got older, I was very attracted to, like, all of the different people that were doing self-improvement things. And back in those days, I mean, cassette tapes were probably the first thing that I started doing. So I was always open to different things. And then when I was planning to open my first health food store, I was working for Elizabeth Arden at the time. And I had a lady come to my counter, and I knew her from my chiropractor's office. And her name was Cheryl. And we were just talking about life in general. And she just kind of looked at me and she said, your energy's kind of off. I can't remember what word she used. And I was like, I don't even know what you mean. Right. I was planning a vitamin store. I hadn't gotten into spirituality or energy healing or anything at that time.
Okay.
And, so she proceeded to tell me that she and a friend of hers, two nurses, they were both nurses at a hospital where we live, but they were taking courses in something called therapeutic touch. And therapeutic touch was basically similar to Reiki. They don't actually touch the body. They just move energy. So when people can see your energy field, what she was seeing around me is, because I was so scattered, I was getting ready to leave that position, and I was planning to open the store. My colleagues all knew. I mean, I wasn't doing anything that, they didn't know I was doing.
Underhand, yeah.
Just all the planning and all of that. But she could see that my energy field was not pure. Like, I had a lot of scattered energy. And so she explained it all to me. Anyway, so I was very blessed. I said, well, Cheryl, like, we have an office at the back of the store that we're planning. And my goal had been to have practitioners. I didn't know what. I would just attract whatever. And so anyway, I started off my health food store with the two nurses at the back doing therapeutic touch. And they opened my life to everything from more Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra. Back in those days, Deepak Chopra was not as big of a name. I'm talking 30 years,
I've got
right?
two of his books just on my desk at the corner there. Oh,
yes.
yeah.
So they opened me to all of these people, and we even went to see Deepak Chopra. He came to a city very near us, an hour away, and so I was able to actually go. I don't remember what book he was promoting at the time, but I had, you know, different cassette tapes and books, and that opened me up. He had it was a package of 12 cassette tapes, 6 on each side, and it was called Quantum Healing, I think was the name of it.
Yes.
And that opened me up to quantum healing, like the energy fields that we, like, I mean, even now, I just got goosebumps. Even now, people don't even know. Like, sometimes I talk about it and it's like, what? But you and I shared one time about the vibration and the energy of different words. And so words that we use that we don't even think about, or moods that we get down in those things, like that our vibration changes. And so we will attract something of like energy because we're in that vibration. So, I mean, they opened me up to all of that. It was unbelievable. Wow. And so over my 30 years, I've studied and taken different courses for my own knowledge. Most of it, I took Reiki just so that I knew how to do it. And I've done Reiki on horses. I've actually put horses to sleep doing Reiki on them. And I don't mean to sleep, but just like I had one racehorse that literally the handler couldn't get this horse to settle down after it had done a run. And so I was out, kind of playing around because we had horses at the time. Anyway, so I said, well, just give me a minute. I'll just, so he was in cross ties. His name was Gambler. He was in cross ties, and I just stood there in front of him. And the man said to me, like, be careful, he's all crazy, crazy horse. But I just stood and his head was over my shoulder this way. And I just held the space of energy for him. And I just beamed the right energy into him. I won't go into details, but anyway, the guy asked me, what are you doing? And I said, well, it's called Reiki, but why are you asking? He said, well, because his eyes are closed, and I could eventually just feel this horse falling asleep on my shoulder.
Like, beautiful.
Like this big horse, right? Who had been like this in the cross ties. Like, he was so frantic. And so, I mean, over the years, I've just dabbled. We've done it I've done Reiki here and whatever. But energy is energy, and energy is never created or destroyed. And so all of us can work with energy. It's not a talent of mine. It's just something I tell people to get in tune with. I think one time you and I talked about grounding, like get in tune with the plants and feel your feelings when you're around a tree versus up against a cement wall, or like just the different nuances of where you feel better is energy. It's why you walk into a restaurant and you look around and you pick a table because it feels better.
When you're renting or buying a home, you get a feeling and you get that energy.
Yes.
And years ago, so is Qigong about inner energy?
Definitely.
I took my younger daughter to Puglia in Italy it was Gaia and John Parsons. He wrote a book.
Yeah.
He gave me his book actually to say, well done for your story. But anyway, we went to Puglia in Italy for what was actually called a bucket weekend. They ran these weeks all over the place, and they had the barefoot doctor. They had all of these different healers that you could go. It was fantastic. I wish I could repeat it.
Oh.
And we had Karl Gruning, I think his name was, a German chap. So we used to go upstairs to the rooftop overlooking the olive groves, 16 of us from all around the world, before breakfast, and do some Tai Chi.
Yeah.
And all gentle Tai Chi. Then we would go down and have breakfast and a chat. Then we would come back up and talk sitting on our cushions floor. Then Carl would teach us this particular Qigong.
Yeah.
And it was tapping into our own energy.
Yeah.
And the things that we could do, you wouldn't believe it. We practiced on small things. So I mean, we got up to say where we could be. I was sat in a chair and I had 4 people, men, women, trying to hold me down. And if you try and get out of that chair by forcing them away, you can't do it.
No.
There's no way you're going to get free.
No.
And then you just let go and you just go into your inner chi, your ki, and you get up and walk away. And literally there's nothing. It's like a magic. I would love to look at that again. And so this energy thing is so powerful.
It's so powerful.
And we have, maybe it's when, a mother or somebody lifts the front of a car off her baby.
Yes.
She's forgotten her limitations. They're irrelevant because at that time, she's got to save her child. I think it's so powerful. And it took me a long time to realize, these plastic glasses have energy. This tin of mints, every single thing has energy, and we are all interconnected, which is why with certain people who are not healthy in your life and who have really tried to destroy you, you have to, or I've had sort of therapy work to detach the energetic connection.
Yes.
It's a fascinating. So, and actually I had some hypnotherapy to help with that, but I never really think I go down. Some people go down deep and they're completely suggestible and susceptible to things, and then you semi go down. Or I think, what is that, Kim? Because I want to learn to really be able to meditate, because I'm a bouncy tigger, okay, and I want to just woo. And so you talked about meditation within this spiritual world, didn't you? So that was another thing you learned to do.
Yeah, so I, again, like through having the health food store, and I became like the hub of all that. I had everybody that was in our area that was drawn to that. And so I had this wonderful lady invite me to, and so I'm talking 1993. So in 1993, our community, some of these things weren't talked about, right? And so they had a meditation group in their wellness center, and we almost had to, I felt like it was underground almost, because we would just, we're just going to meet here. And so we practiced all different types of meditation. And so because that was so long ago, and what I've learned over the years, I think people, again, have hidden messages around words. And if you think meditation has to be sitting cross-legged on a thing and you have to do all these things, no. Meditation is what you want it or need it to be. So meditation could just be sitting under a tree watching the leaves. That's a form of meditation. Meditation is prayer. So people that go into prayer, that's meditation. Meditation could be just listening to music with your eyes closed and trying to just focus on the words. That's meditation. So sometimes, and the same thing with you said about the hypnosis, it's the suggestibility of maybe we had an attachment to that word that didn't serve us at the time. So we think, oh, now I can't meditate. But you could be only thinking within a square box of what you perceive meditation is.
Absolutely. Right? That's very interesting and helpful.
Yeah. So everybody can meditate. You go to church and you pray with everybody. That's meditation. Yeah. And so you listen, like you said, another time you and I were talking, like you listened to a song that took you back in time. Well, technically, you just meditated. You left the here and now, your present surroundings, and you went back in time to whatever memory was attached to that song. So that technically could be a form of meditation. You left your problem today and went someplace else.
I think this is interesting because the word meditation, for some people, perhaps I can't do that. Exactly. Because it has a certain meaning attached to it that's not strictly accurate. It's not just one element of closing your eyes and going and having an empty brain, empty head, is it?
But you also programmed yourself, because people that say, I can't meditate.
Oh, yeah. I realize that. Yes.
I can't. And the more times you say it, instead of I absolutely can, or I do it in my own way. Right.
Yes. In my own way. I meditate in my own way. And I love the fact that just closing your eyes and listening to music, probably with headphones on, because it goes right in, no distractions. I mean, there are courses called, meditation for people who can't meditate.
But even in the name of that, right? The name is
actually counterproductive.
So it's the messages we tell each other or ourselves.
It is, and I think with it, when you and I talk, I mean, people perhaps may think, oh my goodness, this is so much positivity and Pollyanna, but it isn't. It's reality. No. If you want to have, an improved or an optimum life of joy, health, wealth, then these are the things that need to be habits, and that we practice in order to achieve what we want to be, do, have.
Right.
So,
and finding something that works for us.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be what you and I do. It's something that works for that person.
Again, so if anybody has any questions or thoughts, we would love to hear them. We'd love to hear your experiences. We'd love to have questions around, or even, hang on a minute, what about X, Y, or Z? So we'd love to have that kind of engagement. So please ask away. Kim, is there anything else you want to say about spirituality, and in particular your journey towards it, having had that wonderful opportunity of a room at the end of your health food store before we say goodbye?
And it is a journey. And I do want to tell people now that we're, 30 years later, but when I first started, it was a little on the woo woo end, and people would say that it's like, oh, whatever. But now science can actually prove how our energy flows from person to person. Quantum physics has been able to calibrate. So it's scientifically proven that we can do these things, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's not woo-woo, but it's what you want it to be for your life.
Yes. Yep. And you don't have to take it on board. You don't have to do it. I can remember my business mentor, who was the catalyst for my life turning around. I think it was 2013. She would talk about the connection of energy. We are all connected.
Yep.
And she was the first one to tell me, this is not woo-woo, it's science. Albert Einstein talked about, this. Quantum physics is fascinating. And don't let it put you off because it's got the word physics in it, because, it's fascinating. And metaphysics as well.
And we're all connected. That's what I love about what you're doing, honestly, Susie, because now with the internet, we can say it's bad or it's good, but now with the internet, you can be connected to people that need what you're doing at a rate of just a flick of a button. Whereas 30 years ago, I had a fax machine, I had a fax machine and a telephone. And so I think now it's just more commonplace that people can find these answers, right?
Yes, it is. It's become much, much easier in so many ways. And yet the yin and the yang, it's become much harder for people because there's so much noise out there. There's so much that we think we have to keep up with or aspire to when you can't, it's just not real. And so anyway, my love, thank you, as always, for your wisdom. And we will be back again soon. This afternoon, I've recorded a wonderful podcast with a fantastic woman that's going out on Wednesday. So I don't know why that's relevant, because this might actually go out afterwards. So never mind.
Nope, it's real.
If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, because it's great. So thank you for listening, for watching. And if you like what you've heard and seen, please like and subscribe. We really want to build this community to a global community of women supporting women.
And people can reach out to me anytime.
Yes, so absolutely.
Anytime at all.
And so all there is left to say is have a great rest of the day or evening, wherever you are. And we'll be back again very soon. And thank you so much, Kim. Thank you. Bye, everybody.